They say the past is in the past, that children here are safe. They say a ban on taking any new students should be lifted, or the future of Ampleforth could be in doubt. With online posts about the culture at both state and private schools, there have been thousands of accounts of children being harassed and abused by other children at schools across the UK.
What more needs to be done? What more can we do to safeguard the interests of children?
A review announced this week will look at how schools respond to abuse. But on that issue, Ampleforth has already faced government scrutiny. The report from a second failed Ofsted inspection in 6 months revealed, during a very recent review of past records, leaders at the school came across serious safeguarding concerns that had not been referred to the relevant authorities. It adds, these concerns have now been referred. We were made aware after that Ofsted report was published that the safeguarding concerns relate to allegations of peer-on-peer abuse and the way the school dealt with the situation. The allegations were of a serious and sexual nature, but weren't initially reported to the police. Today, Ampleforth College have told us that the incidents didn't happen on or near the school grounds and the alleged perpetrators were not students at the school. They say the failings are procedural, but they have confirmed that allegations that were serious and sexual were known about and weren't reported to the police until a later date when school records were reviewed. With fees of $36,000 a year, some call Ampleforth the Catholic Eton. But for 3 decades, from the 60s to the 90s, the culture put reputation first, allowing monks to sexually abuse children.
In many cases, abuse was dealt with in-house.
What we know about abuse at Benedictine schools is, in part, down to Jonathan West. He uncovered details of what happened and told me, despite guidelines and policies, at many schools, abuse still isn't always reported. Why is that not a legal responsibility?
That's a very good question, which could perhaps be addressed to government. We are unusual in this country in not having laws in this subject. More than 80% of countries worldwide do have mandatory reporting laws for child abuse. We have mandatory reporting for money laundering, so we protect our money more than our children.
In the last 3 years, the Independent School Inspectorate has failed Ampleforth 3 times. Their report in 2019 mentions serious incidents of peer-on-peer abuse. Separately, it says a reference given for a member of staff failed to mention a formal warning for safeguarding reasons. After a change of head teacher, the school passed another inspection which found significant improvements. But in September, the Education Secretary ordered Ofsted to carry out an emergency inspection. The school failed on safeguarding and leadership. Ampleforth College say since then, external safeguarding professionals have assessed the school as being safe. They've told us there's no suggestion the school has been anything other than fully transparent with the authorities. And it is clear how schools and society deal with peer-on-peer abuse is a wider problem and conversation.
Let's remember, schools are all about learning. And how can somebody learn if they don't feel safe when they're at school? And that's particularly problematic for young women who are then taking those experiences into university and the workplace. And it really is deeply harming them for the rest of their lives.
Ofsted inspectors were back at Ampleforth last week. The Education Secretary has their findings and will decide what happens next.